Morning, folks. Welcome back. Awfully chilly out this morning. It was 38 degrees. The sun is out, but shortly we're supposed to get like 3/4 of an inch of rain. And I'm dirty already, folks. There's a lot I want to do before the rain comes. So it just is what it is, right? And I hope you all are busy. Now this is going to be more of a prepping video than it is a homestead video. No, it's all homestead, right? But I can tell you, folks, no matter who you listen to, it used to be, oh, that person's talking like that. They're just batshit crazy, right? Not anymore, folks. Everybody that I have watched on YouTube, and it hasn't been much because I've been so busy, right? And when I come in at the end of the day and sit down, I'm done for the day, right? Every single one of them is trying to encourage people to look and see what is happening. It's just not looking good, folks. It just isn't. And if everybody is accurate, and I think 90% of them are from what I've watched, it's a little bit worrisome, right? It's gone past concern. Now it's a little bit worrisome, folks. You've got everything going up, and then you've got these people that are finally waking up, and the food prices are so expensive that they're having a hard time stocking up, right? Now, remember that lady that said that, I don't know, less than a month ago, that said she was too lazy for a garden? I'm too lazy to garden. Well, her husband has finally woken up, folks, and he come home one day and he says, we're gonna get some birds and we are going to raise birds and we're going to have a garden this year. Now, she didn't think that was a good idea. Well, it was a good idea if her husband did everything, right? She said, if he brings all that stuff home and he has all these big plans and he expects me to do it all, she said, that ain't gonna fly. Well, I said, you're gonna be eating the food, right? And she just kind of looked at me. So, if you've got one partner that is on board and you're not, maybe you should listen to him or her. Maybe, I don't know, but I can tell you, folks, I don't see how people's eyes are not fully awake. Fully awake. So she weren't about to garden, and she weren't about to tend to the birds. That's going to be his responsibility and his responsibility only. But she's gonna eat what they grow and raise, right? So people are just gonna have to get over being lazy. They just are, because it's gonna come to a point where things are going to be so expensive, you're going to have to put more hours into work, you're going to have to pick up another job, and that's work all in itself, right? And that takes time away from home. So I just don't get it. I don't get it, folks. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Now, I do realize that anxiety freezes people, right? I do understand that a lot of people, anxiety freezes them where they're so overwhelmed and they just can't function and do what they need to do. Now, I also know that anxiety puts people's butt in gear, right? Now, I used to have horrible anxiety, folks, and I didn't like how that felt. So I worked really, really, really hard on letting certain things go and dealing with what I needed to do, I made it work for me instead of against me. So you get me a little bit PO'd, and I'm going to get a lot done, folks. You get me with a little bit of stress and anxiety, and I'm going to get things done, folks. That's just how I function. If I shut down, I wouldn't have a homestead, right? I just wouldn't have a homestead. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know if everybody's prediction is true, we're in for some really, really, really hard times, folks. Now, even a little bit helps, right? Now today what I am going to do is I am going to dig a few holes, and I am probably tomorrow afternoon, which it wouldn't be the best time to do it, but I'm going right by this place, and I'm not going to go 10 miles out of my way with the prices of gas to go back there. So I'm going to go the back way home, and I'm going to bring 2 5-gallon buckets with me, and I am going down to where the fiddleheads are, and I am going to dig some fiddlehead plants up, probably about 10 of them, and I am going to bring them home, and I am going to transplant them. So that's just one thing that I can transplant here in my yard that will give me some food, right, if I need it. And fiddleheads, ostrich fern, folks. If you don't know what fiddleheads are, ostrich fern, that'll give me a lot of nutrients, a lot of iron, right? Because they have a lot of iron in them. So minerals, nutrients, all of that, and they're really good, folks. So that's what I plan on doing. I am always looking ahead. I am always seeing where I could tighten up a little bit, and I am all seeing where I can cram a little bit of food here and a little bit of food there in my garden, right? Even if you're growing in tires, even if you're growing in pails, it doesn't take up much room in your yard or my garden. But if you can put something somewhere that is going to help you get ahead a little bit, because it should be history where if you are cooking a meal and you don't have everything that you need to cook that meal, before you could just run down to the local store and grab it, right? And then bring it home and continue cooking your meal. Well, that little jaunt to the store is costing you a whole lot more money because the fuel prices are going up, right? So I don't know how often some of you shop. I know it depends. Here, if it's in the winter, it's between 2 weeks and a month that I just go and pay bills and stop on the way back and see if there's anything that I need or if there's any sales. And then this spring, early this spring, it was like every 2 weeks. Now it's at least once a week because I'm going by at least once a week, right? Now, when I'm out, that's when I get my grain. That's when I get anything that I need. Check out the sales, pay my bills, whatever I need. It's a one-stop shop basically in this one city, I guess, small city. So just make your trips count. That'll help, right? Now, if predicted, and the gas prices go up to $7, $8, $9, $10 a gallon, there's not going to be much joyriding. There's not going to be much jaunting to the store to get one single item. You're probably going to find that you're going to cook without that item, or you're going to have another meal, right? So, and leftovers, folks. Please do not throw your leftovers out. Leftovers are pretty good. Now, I know there's a lot of people, a lot more than people think, that don't like leftovers. They just want They just want it fresh. Now, you get a stew or a chowder or whatever, and you make it the day before or 2 days before you plan on eating it, I can tell you right now that food tastes a whole lot better, folks. So leftovers go into the garbage. I just don't get it. I just don't understand that whatsoever, because that you might as well be throwing money right out the window. You might as well be just doing that. So if you have birds, that supplements your, if you don't want the leftovers and you have birds as chickens, whatever, just toss them out to the birds. That supplements their feed, right? So, by the way, those field peas, those whole yellow peas that I sprouted and planted, they're up probably a couple inches, and every one of them survived, folks. So that's good, because that'll supplement my duck feed, because duck like peas, right? And when the plant's all done, I could just pick the plant up and throw it in with the birds, and they'll eat the pea plant too, right? So I'm also planting a lot of summer squash for the birds. I'm planting pumpkins for the birds. I'm going to throw some old squash seed just to see what happens in for the birds. Now, Kimmy, I think it was Kimmy that said that she plants turnip seed for supplementing the feed, because I did not know this, but I guess about any barnyard animal really likes turnip or the green, right? I don't know. So I'm going to try that this year. Now, somebody asked me, and I do not know who it was. I remember reading it, and then I got interrupted before I could respond, about the achucha, or the achocha. Something about 3 seeds and you planted 1, and wondering if that was okay. Absolutely. All you need is 1 plant, folks, because that 1 plant will give you so many pods, so much fruit, so much vegetable, that all you need is 1, really. Now, I've got 5 achocha plants started inside, and that'll give me way more than enough, but I'm going to try to pickle some this year, and I eat a lot of them fresh, and I also allow a few of them to go to seed so I can plant them next year, right? So for the nice lady that wondered about the 1 achocha plant, that's more than enough. Just let a few pods go to seed, and you're going to know when they're gone to seed is when you open one up and they're black, right? They're black. So yeah, 1 plant is definitely enough. You don't need 2 or 3 plants for pollinating. You just need the 1, and they grow wonderful with pole beans, folks. They're just kind of meant for each other, okay? So I guess that's it. For most of you, if not all of you, who follow me on this channel, you know this is not for you, what I'm going to say. But for those of you who are on here that haven't started prepping, it's time to get your ass in gear. I'm just going to tell it like it is. I'm going to be blunt, because there's no more hemming and hawing. There's no time for laughter. There's no time to sit and think about, because thinking is not going to get you very far. Thinking is not going to feed your belly unless you're following that thought through with action, right? So plant something, folks. Now, I'm going to give a shout out to Heavy Metal Homestead. She was transplanting some leeks in the rain, and that is the best time to do that. Actually, is that's when I try to transplant my stuff too. Is during a rain or just after a nice rain. That's the best time to transplant, folks. So, but she was transplanting some leeks or ramps. They were ramps. And that is a wonderful thing, folks. I think that was a really good idea. And it's the Same idea with the fiddleheads, right? You dig them up and you transplant them so you have some on your own property if you don't already. Um, Same idea as with my hopness. I dug them up and planted them in that half cut off plastic barrel. It took me 3 years to amend the soil to where they liked that soil, mimicked the soil they came out of. It took 3 years, folks, and I know how to do my soil, but I don't know. That soil took quite a bit of tweaking. But they are coming up. They are fast growing, just like hops are, and they'll wrap around this and that. And that is like the Jerusalem artichoke. It is hopness is a tuber that you can eat instead of a potato, right? And that's something just like the Jerusalem artichokes that you can eat year round if you can dig them up. Okay, so there's a lot of tubers out there that will substitute potatoes, and the majority of those that you can eat that are edible, that you can dig up in the winter or all year round, that'll help sustain you, okay? If you find some hopness down along a stream and snap them off, examine the soil, examine where that is growing, and try to mimic that at home, and plant them, and then you can have something growing in your yard year round that you can dig up for food, providing if you live in, like in Maine, you mulch it with leaves, so if you do need it in the winter or want it in the winter, you can dig it up and get through the frozen ground, right? Remember that video that I did on foraging in the wintertime? Yeah. So that was something that I should have done, and I think forward is something that is going to be something that I will need to do, just to make sure that if I need it in the winter, I can have access to it. Is I will mulch the Jerusalem artichokes, and I will mulch the hopness. Okay. Now, parsnip and carrots, you can leave right in the ground as long as you mulch over it, and you can go out and dig them up in the wintertime, right, if you need to. Anyway, this is getting very long. I've got to go put more bug dope on. And so I guess that's it. I think that I'm getting ready to do a question and answer video, because some of these questions, it's just going to take too long to type out, that I will just answer some of those questions in a video, okay? So if you've asked me a question or want to ask me a question for me to answer in a video, please let me know. And if you've asked a question that I have not answered, I apologize. I try to keep up, but my goodness, when I go in and sit down, folks, I fall asleep. So just ask again, okay? So thank you very much for coming back. And this is way longer than I wanted it to be, so I might shorten it up a little bit. But thank you for coming back. Thank you for any new subscribers. Thank you for all your support. And have a wonderful day, folks. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.